Hello, and welcome back to Yarn Yappin', the series where I, your host Jordan, yap about yarn. Today we're doing a Q&A. So we're cozy, we are on the couch. We're always on the couch, but I'm like lounging. I'm back here, not all up in your business like I normally am, and I'm knitting. I'm working on my Cascade Wave sweater. This yarn, you guys, I bust a nut every time I see it. Demonetized. So I'm just working on, I just have one sleeve left. It's mindless, stockinette in the round. Let's go. I asked you guys on Instagram, what are you pondering? What are you thinking about? What the fuck is up, Kyle? And you guys left me some questions, so I'm gonna answer them. Q&A, that's how this works. My computer is down here with my questions written down. They're not written down, they're screenshotted, and I need to zoom in because I can't read them. Okay, this first question says, I'm thinking about doing my first Noro project. Do you like their yarn / any tips? I would say their yarn is beautiful. Their yarn is a luxury experience. I would suggest trying to knit with a single ply yarn before you splurge on a Noro quantities worth of yarn for whatever your project is. Obviously, it's a sweater. If it's a sweater, that's a higher price tag, but all of their yarns are single plies, and I personally, they're not my favorite yarns to knit with. I'm enjoying knitting with it. I always feel bad, like, when a yarn is gifted to me and I don't love it. It's not that I don't love it, it's just a single ply yarn, and I just prefer multiple plies for many reasons. It is beautiful yarn. The colors are stunning. I would just say if you've never worked with a single ply yarn before, maybe try and find a cheaper option to play around with before you dive into Noro, because it's a different knitting experience versus a 2-ply, a 3-ply, a 4-ply. Like, it's just different. So I'm enjoying it. I wouldn't buy it again. I would not spend $50+ a ball on the Noro yarns. Sorry, Knitting Fever. I'm so sorry. It's beautiful. It's just not for me. I'm not the audience for that yarn. It is what it is. How do you make it seem like it's you and me having a kiki through your videos? I don't edit out a lot of things. I don't mask anymore, bitch. We're getting full ADHD autism for your viewing pleasure. I also don't edit out a lot of things that I feel like some other creators edit out. So, like, if we were on FaceTime right now, I wouldn't be editing out my rambles, my stumbled words, the words I say. Like, I don't like editing. I don't edit out a lot of things, and I think it just gives it kind of an organic feel, and I prefer it that way. I think if I was in like a highly produced setup, I would feel awkward and uncomfortable. Love our low production chats here. What gives you inspo for coloring your fiber? I don't know. The fiber speaks to me. I think I've always been a very intuitive artist, and the colors tell me what they want to be. The colors tell me what colors they want to be with. Like, I just see a vision, and that's how it comes to me. I think I've talked about this maybe in other Q&As or other videos in general, but I've studied I have studied color theory in many different mediums, in many different what's the word? Academic settings. So I don't know. They just talk to me. And that's kind of how it's always been. How long have you been knitting, spinning, and dyeing? Okay, knitting, I started knitting in probably 2021, so about 4 years. Spinning, I think I've been spinning about 2 years and dyeing about 3. I think that was kind of the progression we took. 2020, crochet. 2021, knitting. 2022, dyeing. 2023, spinning. I think that's like roughly the timeline. Um, if you're gonna do one fiber art, you got to do multiple. I hate to break it to you. If you're on fiber art number 1, just get ready for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because spinning, weaving, dyeing, knitting, crochet, they just go so well together. The timer going off is for some yarn I'm dyeing currently, where it's a multitasking day, all right? Let me get this yarn timer. How did you get started with fiber arts? Pandemic. Pandemic, baby. I was going insane in my house. At the time, I had 2 roommates. And fun fact, I've had, how many roommates have I had in my lifetime? 1, 2, 3, 4. I've had 4 roommates in my lifetime. They have all been makeup artists. Isn't that weird? How did I get started? So yeah, my 2 roommates went on like a quick little weekend trip to see their family. Separate families, separate cities they were traveling to, and then the government was like, "Actually, no traveling, you're stuck there." So I was alone in my house for a long time. And this is when I first moved to Vancouver. I moved to Vancouver in 2019 and minimal friends. Minimal friends. This is a hard city to make friends in. Without a pandemic. So a little on the lonely side, going insane in my house alone, and I was like, fuck around and find out with crochet. Pandemic fiber artist. What's your favorite slash least favorite fiber arts trend? I don't follow trends. Um, Not to sound like snobby and like I don't follow trends, but I know that I see trends and I see trendy silhouettes and colors and textures and whatever, but I don't really pay them any mind. Like it is what it is, and if they're around, they're around. I will say I don't like that the fiber arts community in general is trying to keep up with the trend cycles, the micro trends of fast fashion. I think we just need to be doing our own thing, because how can you, a fiber artist, which is inherently a slow, mindful craft, how can you be trying to keep up with these micro trend cycles? No. No. How are the thrift stores near you so good? I can never find good yarn. I get this question a lot. I think it truly just has to do with the thrift store itself. Like, what do the employees value? And a lot of the guys in the back don't give a fuck about knitting or yarn. So a lot of yarn donations either get thrown out or just they're not getting as many donations. I think, I don't know, it just depends on the store. I assume, like, obviously, the more donations they're getting, the more they put out on the floor. That's how that works, obviously. But I think if they're not seeing like a steady flow of yarn or like craft supply donations, they don't really care to have a craft section even in the craft stores. I don't know why. I don't know why they're good near me. They just are. I think it just has to do with each individual store, and I have lucked out with some good stores. So I wish you luck on your thrifting journey, my friend. Maybe I should do a video where I like actually take you guys thrifting with me when I'm looking for yarns, or just on a regular thrift trip, and you can experience what I'm experiencing. Every time I've tried to do that though, I never find anything. It's like jinxing it almost. All right, where are we at? How many tattoos do you have? I love the one you have of the leopard gecko. It's so freaking cute. Thank you. I love my party gecko. We call him. How many tattoos do I have? Oh, brother, I'm gonna have to. 1, 22, 23. I have 23 tattoos. 23 tattoos. I would have a lot more if I wasn't a broke artist, but here we are. Have you tried toe-up socks yet? If so, how's it going? I have not tried the toe-up sock yet. I just haven't. I was gonna try and come up with like a valid reason and or excuse, and I just haven't gotten there yet. I think because it is more a spring project. I know I'm working on spring knits, but those socks are very, very spring focused, and there's still snow on the ground here, which is disrespectful because I pay out the ass in rent so that I don't have to deal with snow. So I don't have to deal with snow, and here we are. My backyard is a skating rink. My parking spot, a skating rink. How do we start talking about rent? Get it together. Okay. Let's see. Favorite soup. These are the questions I'm here for. I am like truly a chicken noodle soup girly. Salt, meat protein, veggies, a little bone broth in there. Love it. If I'm going like something creamier, I would say if you've never had a creamy dill pickle soup, you go try one. You come back to me and you let me know how much you love it. I love a creamy dill, like a broccoli cheddar. Classic. I'm kind of basic when it comes to soups. Next question says crochet pattern you love and one you want to try. Want/plan to try. Here's the thing. Crochet patterns can I don't follow a lot of crochet patterns because they piss me off, they annoy me. I don't know what they're telling me to do. I don't know what the disconnect is in my brain between knitting a pattern versus crocheting a pattern. I don't like crochet patterns. I have purchased I don't remember what it's called. I have purchased one crochet pattern that I was so confident that it was going to be a breeze to do. I tried for about 3 weeks to get past row 1 of that crochet pattern, and it never happened. No bueno. So I don't fuck with crochet patterns, unfortunately. They're just not. I can't read apparently. Go to coffee/yummy drink order. Ooh, there's a place in Gastown in Vancouver. It's called Boba Run. If you are local, I need you to make sure that you check this place out. Boba Run. They're on West Hastings, I believe. Their boba, first of all, is just delicious. Like, it's never hard or like chewy and gross. Like, you know when boba sits for too long and then it's like chewy on the outside but like kind of hard in the middle? It's never like that. It's always warm, fresh, delicious. I love their strawberry matcha. Strawberry matcha with oat milk and boba. Prepare to spend like $16 on one drink with a tip. But like, it's pretty rare that I'm in Gastown for leisure. So it's rare that I get to have them. I love Boba Run. Every drink I've tried from them, delicious. But I will say if I'm gonna like treat myself, it's gonna be something with boba in it. My go-to though is iced coffee. I've been making pandemic whipped coffees for weeks now. I love it. Sugar, caffeine, this. Mm, where are we? How did you start Jackass Collective and advice for others trying to have a fiber business? Jackass Collective was supposed to be a lingerie brand, like handmade lingerie. I don't think I've ever talked about that here. I don't know where we pivoted into fiber arts because I was doing a fashion business design type course program in, oh God, 2022, 2023. And it was a lot of designing and like sewing garment kind of construction based. And Jackass Collective was supposed to be a lingerie brand. At what point we pivoted to fiber arts, I could not tell you. But here we are. How did you start Jackass Collective? We talked about that. And advice for others trying to have a fiber business. Uh, um, Advice for others. Okay, I I don't want to sound like miserable and jaded and like an old hag that's trying to like gatekeep having a fiber arts business, but I'm gonna say my biggest advice is don't. Is keep it as a hobby. Keep it as a hobby because okay, my advice for someone who would like to start a fiber business is your love for fiber arts has to outweigh all of the other shit that comes along with having a business. Okay, I'm trying to think of some things that I did this week. Um, Website maintenance, listing items, taking photos, getting product photos right. What social media platforms are you using? What apps, what editing apps are you using to edit for your social medias? How much does that editing app cost? Who's your target audience? How are you finding your target audience? How are you keeping your target audience? Eventually, the point where I hit recently was I had to like legally make my shit a business. The government, you're going to have to, at some point, the government will be involved. The worst part, Shipping supplies. What shipping company are you going to use? Um, there's so many boring, awful, rotten things that come with running any business, obviously. And I think my advice would be that your love of the fiber arts, the craft, the art itself has to outweigh everything else. And there's some days, a lot of days where I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? What are we doing here? And there's other days where I'm over the moon. And it's the days when I get to see what you guys make with my yarn, or how you've spun a fiber I dyed, or even if you're not working with my yarns or fiber specifically, but some of you will say like, oh, this, your project inspired me to do this, like shit like that. The community is what keeps me going, is what keeps me dealing with the government. I, this was a little bit more of a rambly answer than I intended, but I would just say that my advice would be that your love for fiber arts has to outweigh all the other shit you're going to have to deal with. And if it doesn't, then it don't. Just keep it as a hobby. Just keep it as a hobby. Keep it as a hobby. How do you keep your joints healthy while knitting? I tried knitting and I felt so much pain. I would say try a different knitting style. I knit English style. I don't know if you've been noticing my little rat hands down here, but I throw. I'm a thrower, it's called. A lot of people will judgmentally try and teach newbies continental, which is when you hold it in this hand. There's just different knitting styles, and certain knitting styles hurt some people's bodies. Continental style knitting rocks my shit to the core. It gives me pain like all up my arm. So I would say try a different knitting style, and also make sure you're stretching. We got to be stretching our joints, all right? You're not getting out of bed in the morning and sprinting, just sprinting down the road doing a marathon. There's a warm up, there's stretching. We got to keep the muscles, the ligaments, everything happy. Same goes for knitting. Yes, it's just your hands, but there's so many muscles and so many little muscles in here that you don't realize you need and use to knit. Try a different style that works better for you, maybe. Stretch your shit. Excuse me, I don't remember where we left off. Sorry, I'm multitasking today. It's a businesswoman. This microphone is pissing me off. Let's hope the audio sounds good because I'm not refilming this. The question we were on, I think, who's your favorite pattern designer? Jessie May Designs. Jessie May Designs. I have knit the Ripple bralette 4 times, I think. Like, literally love that pattern so much. I've knit it 5 times. I knit the matching shorts. I think the pattern's called the Ripple Butt Shorts. They're super cute, super cheeky. Just the way she writes her patterns, it just clicks in my brain. It's not overly complicated. Her patterns aren't 47 pages long. Y'all, I swear to God, sometimes I'll buy a sweater pattern and it's got 38 pages in it. And I'm like, there was no reason for this pattern to be over 12 pages. What the fuck are we doing? Because I print all my pages. They're to the point, they're size inclusive. I just love the way she writes her patterns, and her designs, just they always fit so well. Chef's kiss all around. Love her work. Or whose patterns do you really want to knit more of? I don't know, you guys. I don't branch out. I don't buy a lot of patterns because I don't follow a lot of patterns. It's pretty rare that I follow. Normally, if I'm buying a new pattern, it's to learn a skill, like a specific shaping or a specific garment style. I don't know. How do you manage working and having a business from a burnt out, chronically ill person? The answer to that question is that I am insane. I am. That's how I'm getting through it. No, jokes, kind of. My boss is fucking incredible. I have worked in the same field, my day job, for years, like probably 5-6 years at this point, and I've never had a boss that actually gives a fuck about her employees. So that takes a lot of the day job stress and annoyances away. I know that if something isn't right, I can come to her and she'll fix it. She's got her back in any situation. I feel like up until this point of working with her, I've been with her for about 7-8 months. I have not been able to do Jackass Collective on the side to the capacity that I want to be, because other companies are just so draining and they don't give a fuck about me, and I spend more time in bed resting and recovering. My boss is great. I have a good boss, which is a very huge help. Also, my community is fucking incredible. My closest group of friends, I often call on them for help with tasks around my house. If you don't know, I'm a residential cleaner. So I clean for people all day. I am cleaning all day. I'm also chronically ill and mentally ill. I don't talk about my chronic illnesses here. It's boundaries. I have people to talk about it with, and I don't. This damn timer. We're trying to have a serious conversation here. There was a point in time that I did talk about my chronic illness and my mental illnesses online. I do talk openly about being autistic and having ADHD. That that's fine. We can discuss that. I don't talk about everything else. It's a boundaries thing. With peace and love, y'all have crossed my boundaries so many times, so it's just not something I discuss. But I do call on my closest friends to help me when my body is like about to give out. Um, my community, my core circle of friends has kept me alive and running. They often help me with doing my dishes while I'm at work, going and getting groceries for me, doing the grocery shop for me, helping me with whatever the task is that is overwhelming me at the time. So yeah, short answer is I'm insane. My boss is a badass and is incredible, and my community keeps me sane and grounded. My computer's asleep here. Okay. Favorite color in the moment. I've been pink. Pink has been calling me. I'm a jewel tone girly. At the end of the day, I'm wearing a jewel tone. Okay. My sweatpants, pink, my hair, green. Like, I just love jewel tones, but right now, pink is really, really calling me. I've been dyeing a lot with pink right now. I have a huge pan of yarn on the stove right now. I'm dyeing up feral. And just looking at the pink in the pan, I'm like salivating. I'm supposed to be at Jazz's house right now. I should text her and say, sorry, girl, I'm running late. Yeah, a lot of pink. Also, I think the girlies in my life are influencing me towards pink. Um, I'm about to text Jazz, who runs Sauce Strap. If you're not familiar, oh my good lord. Sitting here editing this, just giggling at myself, like, girl, you didn't finish the sentence. But I was going to say, my friend Jazz, check out her pages here. She is a pink bitch through and through. And I've been spending a lot of time with her. She's been influencing me to the pink. Where were we? Favorite color of the moment? Pink. Yep, loving. Does your fiber arts have a connection with your queer expression? If so, how? Ooh, that one. Love. I would say yes, absolutely. My discovering my queerness and exploring my queerness, that journey has been running parallel to my fiber arts journey, like learning new things, learning new techniques. And I think, if so, how? It does have a connection, but I really couldn't tell you how it's connected. It just is. I think crafting is inherently political and queerness is inherently political. So they are connected, but I really, if so, how? Damn, y'all got me thinking deep. I think the more I learn about queer history and about myself as a queer person, at the end of the day, it comes down to I'm loud as fuck. In terms of what I'm saying, literally, I am loud as fuck. And I don't have to minimize myself in so many spaces where other queer and trans folks have had to minimize themselves. Here's a picture of me looking fruity. I just wanted to say, when I say minimize, I mean hide in times and places where it was illegal or criminalized to be gay. Our queer and trans ancestors were hiding themselves out of safety, and I have the privilege of being in a time and place where it's rare that I do have to minimize and hide myself, and if I don't have to, I won't. I simply won't. And I look like a fucking, like a clown right now, right? Like, I have a neon green mullet. I think just the colors and the way that I choose to use color in texture is almost like a protest in a way of like, I am here, bitch. I am here and I am queer and I'm wearing a very obnoxious sweater. I don't know. It seems kind of silly, but I think if I had to like really, really, really boil it down and think hard about it, that's how they're connected. Hi, I'm in bed, hunched over like a shrimp with the big light on, editing. I saw a video from a creator on Instagram. Her name is ep30, and people were kind of circulating this video in my like local fiber arts community, and I think she summed up what I was trying to say much better. So I'm going to insert her reel, was it a reel? Her reel right here, and I'm scared of copyright, but this is her content, not mine.
Here are my knitting hot takes. If you are knitting with beige and neutral colors, then you are homophobic and racist. Am I being reductive? Yes. But do I also still believe it's true? Yes. Let me explain. Conformity has always been a tool of the oppressor, which is why authentic self-expression can be such a radical act, especially in these times when fashion trends are leaning towards conformity. There are definitely books on the subject of chromophobia, meaning like avoiding bright colors, which has been, again, a tool of the oppressors since like ancient Greece. So pick up a really colorful project and know that your action is a little bit radical, especially right now.
Damn. Y'all got me thinking deep on this one. I actually really like that question. Okay. What materials did you use when you were just starting? So they're asking, okay, the way this is worded, my brain is hurting. What materials, fiber and spinning tools? When I first started spinning, I had a drop spindle. And I used it maybe 3 times and I could not. I have, my chronic pain is all in my shoulders, my neck, my upper back. So just using a drop spindle, it's a lot of this. It's a lot of arms out. It's a lot of arms, shoulders, upper back involvement, and it fucking hurt like a bitch. So I used a drop spindle for maybe a week, and then I did get a spinning wheel. I just had a calling to it, and I knew it wasn't like, I had been watching Jillian Eve, okay? If you guys don't follow Jillian Eve, if you're a new spinner, if you're curious about spinning, if you are an experienced spinner, check out her channel. She is an incredible teacher. She is intersectional with her teaching, she's always talking about positioning of your body for certain mobility things. She talks about indigenous practices. Just love her channel. I had been like, I was obsessively watching her channel for so long that I knew that if I invested in a wheel, this was going to be a hobby I did for a long time and not something that I was just like needing a quick little dopamine hobby, you know? It was something I researched for so long that I did buy a wheel. I got my wheel secondhand at an estate sale. I know that secondhand shopping, especially for like wheels, which are bigger, is not accessible to everyone. But if you can source something on Marketplace, an estate sale, Craigslist, like whatever market you're using, recommend. And what materials? Okay, so funnily enough, when I first started crocheting, okay, was kind of, I think it was kind of, okay, a fiber arts trend that I hate. We're going back to that earlier question, and I was like, I don't really, knitting with roving, knitting with that thick ass unspun yarn, girl, that looks terrible after 2 wears. And I know that because I knit a garment or 2 with that thick unspun roving yarn, and I wore it twice and it was awful, and I took it apart and I spun yarn with it, okay? Actually, where is it? This pink is some of the first yarn that I spun on my wheel because I purchased on Facebook Marketplace from this cute little old lady. I purchased like a massive bag of that roving yarn from her. It was a Japanese brand. There was so many colors. There was mainly pink and orange. And for so long, I spun that yarn into new yarn. And to this day, every once in a while, I'll find like a bulky skein of like that unspun type single ply yarn and I'll spin it. Sometimes I dye it and then I spin it. That's what I started out with, was the tools that I had. Yes, I went out and bought a wheel. My wheel was $250. Incredible deal for the wheel I have. I have an antique Louette, as I mentioned earlier, in perfect condition. Truly perfect condition. And I lost one of the pieces. That's why it's missing. Anyways, I used what I could in terms of the fiber I was spinning. It was 100% wool. But that's what I was using when I first started. That answer was longer than I think I needed it to be. That is all the questions. That is all the questions. This was a fun video to film, I'm not gonna lie. This video is gonna be long, okay? This video is gonna be long, I already know this. No way I could keep this short. It's a yappy or yapping video. So if you made it this far, chef's kiss. Thank you for sticking around. Um, that's it. That's all. I really have nothing else to say. Thank you for watching. Thank you for leaving me some questions. Every once in a while I post on Instagram and we do a little Q&A. I feel like I do them every like 4 or so months. I don't know. So if you're not following me on Instagram, JackassCollective, that's where I ask you guys questions. Maybe in the future I can put in the community tab. I just learned about the community tab on YouTube. I'd seen other creators do it, but I didn't realize what it was and that I could do it too. So maybe in the future I'll add some. I don't know if you can do anonymous questions on the community tab. I'm gonna learn. Anyways, make sure you're following me on Instagram so you don't miss the Q&A, the Q section where I'm asking you guys questions. It's always randomly on my story. And you can follow my TikTok. I haven't posted on TikTok in a long time. That app is a dumpster fire anyways. Thank you for watching. Make sure you're liking, commenting, subscribing. I know that the algorithm is so incredible that even if you don't subscribe to me, YouTube is still going to show you all my videos. I'm still going to pop up in your suggested on your homepage. Just subscribe, bro. Please. It helps the algorithm learn and push me to more people. So the algorithms, it's always a battle against the algorithms. That's another thing. Whoever asked me about my advice for someone wanting to open a fiber business, you're battling against the algorithms. Wrap it up, girl. You've been yapping too long. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good day, night, evening, wherever you are. See you in the next one. Bye.